So we started off with what's the problem? Now, it doesn't matter what the context of the session is. This whole thing of sessions are harder than others. I know other trainers that tell their students, you shouldn't work with stop smoking because stop smoking is the hardest session to work with. That's you projecting your bullshit onto me because it's not stop smoking anyway. It's not weight loss. It's not anxiety. So what the hell have you got to be fearful for? Now, laws, when it comes to work like alcoholism and drugs, I get that. You got to stick to those laws, but that's not what I'm talking about. But as soon as you start to frame a session like it's going to be harder than something else, you now go into nervous mode and your client will pick up on that. Does that make sense? So all in all, we started with, what's the problem? Now, I forget what Isla said, but who would say within that 1 minute spiel of all that fluff, 99.9.9.9.9% of that can just be ignored? Yeah. Who just heard like a big regurgitation of stuff? And that's all it is. That's all a client can tell you. Because they're going to give you, what's a client going to tell you? They're going to give you a circumstance, an event, their thoughts, their conclusions, their likes, their dislikes, consciousness, unconscious. It's just this big amalgamation of confusion. Would everyone agree with that? Mm-hmm. So if we know a client's going to do that, and we ask a question, what's the problem? We've basically said, tell me what the problem is. What do we do with all this information? And Edwin did it without realizing, or whether he did, that's fine as well. Yeah, we're going to trash it, throw it away.
Yeah.
But what do we do with it next to keep the conversation going? Because we've got to listen to something. We've got to have some sort of vehicle to steer towards something.
We look for a keyword to feed back to them.
We can look for keywords. Anything else?
Maybe go right back to the beginning again.
Go back to the beginning again. These are all valid answers. And if you see me looking off, it's because I can see a spider coming down from my roof and I hate spiders. So I'm not ignoring you. I can see it's about to get squashed. What else could we do?
You're looking for the unconscious moments.
Thank you. We're looking for something called unconscious moments. And this is what differentiates you guys from the millions of traditional therapists out there that are too busy fucking talking and reading scripts to see wonderful things happening or hearing these things. Essentially, an unconscious moment, we're going to go through a list of these. So when we do this interview again, you'll be able to see it and go, oh my God. An unconscious moment is trance happening. It's the unconscious moment expressing itself. It's going to express itself through different categories, which we'll go through. But if you're too busy talking, or I tell Bryn to close his eyes and relax, or go down a path or whatever, I'm basically saying his unconscious mind, I'll direct you to what I want you to do. You just sit back and do what I tell you. It's like the whole slave thing. Garbage. All right? So if the unconscious mind is going to express itself, if we allow it to, in most cases, it's going to be combined with a lot of conscious fluff. Your job, which we'll create a list for, is to find out what is unconscious information and what is conscious information. Conscious information, from working with Mark and he gives me 10 words and 9 of those words are conscious, I can ignore those. They don't mean anything. There's that one thing I'm looking for. That's where the real juicy stuff is. That's where trance exists. That's where therapy exists, believe it or not. All right? Okay. So taking those unconscious moments, let's now create a list and we can do a bit of hindsight and look back and go, oh, that's what Scott picked up, or that's why Edwin asked that